Well, welcome back to the Untitled Podcast. Still untitled.
Untitled?
May stay the name of our podcast.
We'll see.
But well, we had something else planned for today, but a little news article came across our Facebook page and my Google page and everywhere else.
You shared 48 times on the Cape Coral residents group. Yeah.
So apparently, the Wall Street Journal did an article and said Cape Coral is the worst housing market in all of America.
They said.
And everybody's got an opinion on it.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. So I thought maybe as realtors who are in the housing market every single day, that maybe we should talk about it and kind of lend
it a little bit.
Lend our opinion a little bit.
Your little context.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so I think I just recently shared the mid-year market update on our Instagram and Facebook. Just a quick 60-second video and talked about the numbers of what we saw in Cape Coral. And I think it paints a very different picture than what the news articles are saying out there. So if you haven't seen that video, just to kind of give you a quick synopsis of what those numbers were. We had 2,889 homes sell between January and June of this year. They spent about 83 days on the market was the average, and they were sold for 97.5% of list price.
Doesn't sound too shabby to me.
No, it doesn't sound bad at all.
No.
Like, just looking at those numbers, I'm shocked I was shocked at the article because I didn't think that was that bad.
No.
No. So I kind of just want to talk a little bit about a little bit more about what we're seeing in today's current market. Some of the things that may lend people to believe that it's a bad market, and kind of talk about how we got there, looking back at the past a little bit, and then about where we think Cape Coral's going in the future, and if we are going to see this crash, if we are just going to continue to head downhill and see $175,000 properties. Once again, that comment, I won't let it. I like that comment just cracked us up. So just for real quick, I talked about the numbers, and the numbers make it sound great. But what are you seeing currently in the market? Like when we're out showing buyers, we've been looking at a lot of houses lately.
We're looking at a lot of houses, and it's a mixture of things, right? So the houses that are on the market for a long time with price decrease, those were all listed too high. In my opinion, those were homes that were purchased probably in that sweet spot between 2020 and 2022, right before Hurricane Ian. And folks looking to either liquidate an investment or looking to just move back up north or whatever it may be. But they're trying to recoup what they put into the purchase of the home and try to price at those prices, which
they're trying to they bought at the height and they're hoping that they can still get that same increase,
right?
Like they're like, oh, I bought here and everything was going up 10% every year. And what you have to realize is I did the numbers and got this statistic maybe about 6 months ago, but it said that the average Southwest Floridian, so in our entire MLS, they had a 70% increase in home value in the last 5 years.
I believe it. I mean, we're there. We had about the same.
Yeah, and that's just not sustainable.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're looking so much at a crash.
I think we're looking at a correction or a stabilization is what I like to call it.
I think stabilization is the better word because I don't necessarily think it's a correction.
No.
We're just kind of, people want the trend to keep going up like this. And we're just kind of leveling off. And so the people that are trying to go up are now having to lower their prices to kind of meet that stabilization. And the appearance then is of a failing market.
Correct. Yeah. And I think that it kind of ties into the statistic that you gave earlier, which is what the how many homes were sold this year, which shows that there's still a demand for the area. 2,800 homes wouldn't have sold if there wasn't a demand for the area. So people are still looking here, but because of the inventory out there, they're able to be a little bit more picky. They're choosing the homes that are priced properly, have been, rebuilt after the storm correctly, things of that nature. So they're just able to shop a little bit more in a savvy way.
Yeah. So let's talk about how we went from the hottest market in 2021,
Probably per the Wall Street Journal, too. I mean, I can't.
probably the hottest market in 2021 to now we're the worst in
Right.
2025. But if you look at that, a lot has happened in 4 years
Oh my
in
gosh.
Cape Coral.
It's been like whiplash.
Yeah, I mean, we bought in 2020 just before the big year. And things were trending upwards. Things were selling like crazy. And then September 2022 came around and we had a little event.
Good old Hurricane Ian. Not a
Hurricane-
direct impact to Cape Coral, but pretty darn close.
If you were, I mean, I know a lot of people had heard of Hurricane Ian, but a lot of the focus was on Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach. And things
Rightfully
like
so.
that.
I mean, those guys got,
they were
the
just
brunt of it.
just
Yeah.
devastating. But we also saw a lot of damage in Cape Coral. A
Of course we
lot.
did.
Our area was underwater. Our home was 3 feet underwater, and we'll tell that story at some
Another
point.
time, yeah.
But we did not have the best outcome after
No.
that storm.
No.
And I think one thing that people forget when they look at the housing market is when you get a direct hit or a near direct hit, you're not looking at a couple months to just
Oh gosh, no.
bounce back.
No.
Even the homes that sustained no damage, the entire city was just kind of, I won't say shambles because it's not like Fort Myers Beach, but the city took a real hit.
Mhm.
And so it took us a while for,
Between restaurants and businesses and, infrastructure things to come back
Yeah.
into play. Yeah.
I mean, just to give some context to it, we're approaching the 3-year anniversary. That'll
Mhm.
happen this September. Our house is still not done. We have baseboards, but no caulk or paint on those baseboards.
That's a shot across the bow. I know.
It is.
I'll get it done. Don't
You
worry.
will. All right. You have to September 28th.
You heard it. September 27th. I'll get it done.
But there's places like, it wasn't just that, it was businesses. Like, I just saw a news article that the Bubble Room in Captiva is opening up this month.
Goodness.
Since it's been closed since Hurricane Ian.
Yeah.
Almost 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But Hurricane Ian not only affected us with causing damage to properties, but there was bigger impacts to that, which came in the form of FEMA, the 50% rule,
Mhm.
and insurance.
Correct.
There were a lot of things that people don't think about that we had to deal with.
Mhm.
And the first one was coming in that we were in the news for this as well. Yay. FEMA had said that they were going to pull their 25% discount
Right.
for Cape Coral,
Right.
which really shook a lot of people. There was a lot of panic during that time. But I mean, and I understand their stance on it. One of the big things that happened was the amount of construction that was happening around the city didn't match the amount of permits
Correct.
that were pulled.
So right off the bat, they a lot of folks started rebuilding right away, and they didn't pull permits on what they needed to be pulled. But they were still submitting their insurance claims and through their insurance providers, and obviously FEMA backs flood claims and things of that nature. And they started
They
noticing.
did not like that.
No, they started noticing that, hey, we're paying out on claims here, but no permits are being pulled. So they actually tied in with the city, and they're actually able to retroactively now see if if somebody submitted a claim and did not do the work or did it improperly without permitting and proper contract work, etc.
Yeah, and there was a series of time where they were red stickering people right and left. I want to say, how many homes did they red sticker?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
I can't remember.
170.
I mean, it was a massive number of
Yeah.
homes that they red stickered, and by that it was a nice red sticker that went up that said
Mhm.
stop
Halted
work
construction.
immediately. Because they hadn't pulled the proper permits and placed them outside their houses
Correct.
and things like that. And a lot of those they were able to clear up.
Correct.
I honestly, the people that they haven't, I don't know what happened to. We'll stay away. That concerned people a lot for the insurance purposes.
Right.
And not to mention, you also had the underlying thing, and we'll talk about this a different time. But the 50% rule with FEMA and with the city.
And that's what it's there for.
Yeah, it's absolutely there meant to protect the program as a whole. But if you haven't heard of the 50% rule, and like I said, we'll do a video on it at some point. Basically, FEMA says that, and Cape Coral is goes by this as well. You can only improve your home up to 50% of the market value. And they determine not market value not by what you can sell your home for,
Right.
but by your assessed value. And the assessed value is they only consider the assessed value on your building, not your land. So add 20% to that assessed value, divided by 2. That's how much money you can put into your home, which that's why many people subverted those permits, is because they were going to be over that 50%. They didn't want to get in trouble and have to tear down their home or bring it up to code or any one of those implications that would have happened.
And sidebar, if you're looking for that number on what your home is valued at, reach out to us. We can help you out.
Absolutely. Even if you're just looking to...
Yeah, just to find out.
Yeah, to improve your home or whatever, even if it hasn't sustained damage.
If the Lee County property appraisers has it, and we can get it pretty quickly for you.
Yeah. But all of those things happen. So people were already scared, kind of. Some were just liquidating because they couldn't improve their home. They didn't have the money. They didn't have insurance. They were going to go above the 50% rule, like whatever. And so we had not only a mixture, when you're looking at the numbers for Cape Coral, there were a mixture of properties of damaged homes that were being sold as is, properties that were being sold without permits, that was hurting their value. And you had the normal ones, right? All those mixed together, kind of, you got to pull those apart to understand.
Right. It's not an organic resale market, in my opinion.
No, absolutely.
It has a lot of facets in it that really affect it. When you're looking at high level 10,000 foot type numbers, you're like, whoa. But if you actually break it down and look at it a little bit more closely, you'll see that there are things like what Jamie's talking about, that there are standard resale, there are renovation properties, there are people that are liquidating investments, a bunch of different random things.
You mentioned this before, and I think it's incredibly valid that people don't talk about this. Is the other thing that really affected our market after that was because of the Airbnb market.
Right. I mean, Airbnb was huge in 2020, 21, 22, right? I mean, during COVID and all that stuff, Airbnb exploded. And here in Cape Coral, that was actually a lot of the sales that were happening at that time, was folks buying Airbnbs and putting them on the market and things
or
of that
second
nature.
homes
Or
that they
second
would rent.
Exactly. A lot of folks do that too. They'll get a second home, they'll rent it out for the parts of the year that they're not here, etc. But after Ian, they were looking to liquidate those investments
because there was nothing to go to.
Well, there was nothing to go to. I mean, how are you going to rent an Airbnb if the people aren't going to be able to go and visit, the beaches and things of that nature? Yeah, so it took us a while to rebuild.
Yeah, and even the waterways were not good at the time.
Correct.
So there were a lot going against that market as well. And then I think the other thing that skewed the numbers since then, since Hurricane Ian, is the fact that our city was meant to build out to 400,000. Currently, we're around 200,000. I don't know the exact number to date, but we're around that. And so there was a massive demand in those years, 21 and 22, of people moving down here. So construction was going like crazy.
Good.
And we still have now a lot of inventory because we had a huge influx of people and then a huge
pause,
and then a bunch of people left after Ian. Yep. And we're kind of, we've just been through a lot. And so we have a lot of new homes that are there primed for the resurgence of people coming back and ready to build out the city of Cape Coral. But we slowed down for a minute.
I agree.
And understandably so.
Understandably so. Not just after Ian, but then we also had Milton and Helene that came the following year, which didn't cause as much damage or, anywhere near as much damage as Ian did. But it was still that perception that people just kind of stayed away for a little bit, or they decided that, and I've talked to a lot of buyers that have said the same thing, that they're like, hey, listen, we're going to rent for a couple more years, just kind of see how it settles, see how it goes, etc. And then we'll make that permanent decision. So
and
it's kind of a...
And I saw also a lot of retirees looking to move simply because they were at a point in their life that they're like, I don't want to deal with a hurricane. We moved here because Cape Coral was notoriously known for not having hurricanes, and we had a few, and they were like, I don't want to deal with the stress. Even though we had no damage, they just didn't like the stress.
Or their kids were calling them back up north because they didn't want to deal with the stress of their family being down here.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we've talked a lot about where the market is currently, all the things that happened that took us from being the best market to the worst market. So where do you think we're going? Do you think we are the worst market? Do you think we're going to have this massive crash?
I don't think we're the worst market. No, I think, again, if you're looking at a 10,000 foot view, the numbers might look bad, but I think that my forecast within the next year or two, especially once Fort Myers Beach really starts taking shape again, I think that we are going to stabilize and increase from here on out. So
I don't disagree. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, and I will say after Ian, I remember everybody coming to us and being like, oh my God, what are we going to do with our houses? Our values are just going to tank. All this money that we put into our house, we bought at the height of the market. We're going to lose everything. And you and I were sitting there and we're like, no, we're not. We're not.
no.
And I mean, we did have a dip a little bit. I want to say
Again,
10, 15%.
Yeah.
I mean, naturally, especially with damage. But we told everybody, just hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And look at it. We held on. We even increased a little bit. I mean, our home has increased since Ian, which is great. But now we're looking at it and people are worried about this crash. And I'm looking at all the construction that's happening.
Oh, absolutely.
Fort Myers Beach, they want to make it the next Clearwater. I don't know if they've said that, but that's kind of what they're.
No, that's just kind of what it feels like.
What it feels like.
Yeah.
And with that, when a development like that happens, and now you suddenly have a massive vacation spot or tourist attraction, everything around it kind of comes up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sanibel's coming back, and we have tons and tons of construction happening here at Cape Coral. Whether you like it or not, if you're on the forums, I'm sure we've heard your opinion. But we've got Bimini Square, Cove at 47th. The apartments are done, but the restaurants are coming. You've got the yacht club that's going to come up in the next few years.
Fantastic.
I mean, we're looking at all of these things that are bringing value to Cape Coral, bringing attractions to Cape Coral, and that is going to bring more people and increase the demand and the values.
Absolutely.
So I don't ever foresee us having a massive boom again like 2021.
No.
But I think that we are headed for stable growth. We're kind of in this little, I don't even want to call it, it's not going down. I just want to almost say like a little slump. We're going through a little slump right now.
No, and I agree. I think that we're finding our new normal here for the city. Again, the people are here. A lot of people didn't move out after Ian, so the people are here. I showed homes from people from Wisconsin, New York, Colorado, all the time. So the people are here. The people are still coming down. Sorry?
I was going to say, so do you think we're going to see those $175,000
Oh my gosh,
prices
that
again?
comment floored me.
Yeah.
There was a comment that said, I can't wait for the $175,000 houses to not be $750,000 anymore. And it's just one of those things where that's just not going to happen. That's not Cape Coral.
No, and when we moved down, nobody knew where Cape Coral was.
Correct.
Like, at all. We mentioned it, and I'm like, the secret's out on Cape Coral. I mean, and why not? We have so many waterways. Like, I know that the dream back in the day they had mentioned was for Cape Coral to be like America's Venice.
Yeah.
And I still fully believe that dream is possible.
I agree. And on top of that, again, we kind of keep coming back to Fort Myers. And the reason why that's such a big deal, Fort Myers Beach, is that pre-Ian, there was affordable living out on Fort Myers. Post-Ian, a lot of the development that is being approved down there are going to be very expensive properties, etc. Now, and you're going to have nice, restaurants and things of that nature. Some of the existing restaurants stayed, thank goodness. Like the Lani Kai is still there, etc. But once that gets constructed, Cape Coral is really going to be the nearest water-accessible city that is affordable.
I don't disagree.
It's just what it is.
I would say if you're thinking about buying or investing in Cape Coral, we are in a little bit of a slump. And that should not frighten you from buying or investing. Right. That should actually excite you because you're going to buy in this little slump. And then I think we're going to continue to trend up after there. So if you are thinking about buying, investing, give us a call. But if you're thinking about selling, it is imperative that you have a good marketing plan. You have a good foundation. You are priced correctly. So give us a call for that too. We're happy to help.
Absolutely.
But we're not going anywhere.
I don't think so.
I think I'll fight that article on the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, I'll go head to head on it.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Untitled Podcast. And we can't wait to see you next time.
Thanks, y'all.